All right, so we are back doing a shop. We're at Aldi today because last one we done, we was at Iceland to see if you could eat really healthy without costing a fortune. Now Aldi's one of my go-to supermarkets. Let's give it a whirl. All right, so one of the good things about Aldi is it does skinny burgers. So these are under 5% fat burgers that are ready to go. And what I think is great to do is pair them with an iceberg lettuce. So use the lettuce as a wrap if you're trying to stay away from wheat or lower your carbs or get away from them inflammatory ingredients. That would be the way to go. The kids love them as well. We'll probably have these tonight when we get home. So grab yourself a lettuce, some skinny burgers, put your favourite pickles and so on. They make a decent meal and they do some wicked chips in the freezer option at Aldi, which I'm sure you don't think are low fat. I will show you these later. So if you haven't seen the channel before, please subscribe and like the channel and follow for more of these. And if you want to see daily content, go to my Instagram at Neale Cranwell. There's tons of advice on there, dropped about 2 or 3 times a day. So go have a watch. Now, if you're not having beetroots in your diet or adding them to your salad, you're missing out on a really great nutrient. These are also a great way of getting a pump or having them in your pre-workout meal, because of the nitrates that beetroot give you will mean you'll vasodilate and you'll have more vascularity when you're in the gym. And who doesn't like that pumped look? So if you've not tried them, just try about 50 grams to 100 grams of this with your pre-workout meal and make sure you're salting that meal. That combination is epic for pumps. Right, now if you're eating these at home, stop. They're terrible for you. They're full of extra fat and inflammatory ingredients. So if you're using these for your rice portions, I know they're cheap, they're 55p each. And it's okay if you've got them in the pantry for those times of emergency, but if you're eating it daily or several times a day, you will get bloated. You have to boil rice. My go-to rice is jasmine. Get yourself a rice cooker. It does it all for you and leave it on for the day. If you do suffer from any bloating issues, then if you cook rice fresh and you don't reheat it, it doesn't go back in the fridge, you'll have really great digestion. So just weigh out the amount that you need for your day. Leave it in a rice cooker at the start of the day. You'll be golden all day long. Now these are banging. These are beef mince balls, 5%. My kids love them. We eat them. And they're really easy. They just go in, you can stick them in the air fryer or stick them on a pan. Add your own passata sauce, make your own spaghetti bolognese, and make them guilt-free. So if you're not buying these, you should be there $3.29, and we get, hold your horses, for 340 grams for $3.29. Not bad, they taste great, give them a try. All right, so everyone loves a steak, every bloke loves a steak, and I do. Now the problem is steak's effing expensive, but these 2 fillet steaks are fantastic. They are $13.49, and we're only getting, hold on, 340 grams for 13 quid. That is expensive. Compare that to the meatballs, that is a massive jump in price. What is a better option, and still super lean, is buy yourself a beef roasting joint. Now I hate cooking, and we need to meal prep, it needs to be simple. Get yourself a slow cooker or a pressure cooker, throw that in with some beef stock, and then this whole joint is nearly a kilo, and it's £10. So you get a kilo for £10 of a really lean meat, which is so succulent, and you can pull apart once it's been in that slow cooker, compared to 13 quid for 340 grams. So have a think about that when you're next buying your steak. This will last you probably 3 or 4 meals. This is just one man-sized meal right here. Aldi does a fantastic job of labelling protein everything. Protein pancakes, protein ready meals, protein yogurts. This is all crap. Please stop buying if you want to get in shape. He's got so many additives and like unessential nutrients in. There's about 10 ingredients on this list for what could be 2 or 3 ingredients if you made pancakes at home. So if you want to get in shape, stop inflaming your physique by eating these foods just because it says protein on the label, or if it says gluten-free on the label, it doesn't mean it's healthy for you to get in your best shape. We don't want anything to be inflamed. We want a healthy gut. It doesn't start with this crap. If you're eating dark chocolate for your health, and a lot of people do, they replace maybe a fat source and put this in, because it's generally just fat. You need over 70% dark chocolate, otherwise you're going to get too much sugar with it. The higher the percentage, the more bitter it tastes. 70 is about a decent sort of middle ground. These come in little bars, so you get like little 20-gram bars within this big pack. stops you eating too much in one go. So that's really helpful. They're only $2.49 at Aldi. If you're into dark chocolate, it's probably the best option. Tastes just as good as Lindt chocolate. It's right up there. So if you haven't tried them, $2.49. So Aldi does this middle aisle of crazy weirdness that comes and goes. Sometimes they've got some great things in. Got kimchi in this, and this has got 0 fat, hardly any sugar, and it's a ginger and turmeric, so great for gut health. I don't know if it's raw. It doesn't tell us that, so unless it's raw, it's not going to have any of those benefits. But it does contain turmeric, and look at the colour of that. Now, a lot of people are eating turmeric and think it's great for joint health. It's really the curcumin that you need, but I won't be buying this because if you've had your teeth done, this stuff can turn them orange. I'll be back to the dentist spending hundreds of pounds to sort them out. So stay away from turmeric if you've got some gnashers, and they're not from Turkey. Absolute must-have first thing in the morning is a shot of this. I'd mix a little bit of this, a couple of spoonfuls, with a similar amount of water. Shot that first thing in the morning. You have to buy apple cider vinegar that's raw, the one that says with the mother on it. It's only £2.19 here. It's very cheap. And if you buy a brand like Bragg's, it costs you almost a tenner for the same amount. This is really good for gut health. Start your day this way, your digestion will be great. A little hack, I've said it before, if you've got a sweet craving, grab 1 or 2 of these in the evening. They've got literally no calories, in like 5 or 10 calories if you're buying the sugar-free version of these. So try them out. They're £2.79 here though. That's a little expensive. And these are only half size. They don't do the longer ones that we saw in Iceland. Massive fan of eating wild caught salmon. Now, I've got some comments about salmon and how many parasites it's got. The tip is buy frozen salmon. So we want wild salmon because it's low in fat. It's full of just omega-3. It's actually so much lower fat than regular farmed salmon. I wouldn't be buying that from the supermarket. If you buy frozen salmon, the freezing process will kill any parasites which are known to be found on salmon. So this would be the go-to. 2 fillets come in a box here for £2.29. So that would be the cheapest option that I've found in most supermarkets. They're about £4 or £5 for 4. So very similar price. These taste great, they cook great. They've got no skin on. So if you like skin on your salmon, not included with here, depends how you eat them. 18 minutes in the air fryer, 180 degrees, job done. Okay, so prawns that are cooked, frozen, are so simple to just defrost the night before, and then you've got ready to eat protein. You do need to eat more of these to get the same protein content and calories as you would chicken breast. So 250 grams in a bag. It's about a serving for a man's portion of protein. That's £2.69. Now these are small little prawns, although they say large on them. They're nowhere as good as the ones that are on Iceland I showed you before. But they're still not bad when you're in a bit of a push. So I'll get a couple of bags of these for a rainy day. Now, if you want the best frozen chips that have only got 2 grams of fat in, I know it don't show it on the packet, but it does if you look at the nutrition. These from Aldi, which is their specially selected range, are just whopping, massive, amazing chips. Stick them in the air fryer for 20 minutes and they're fantastic. These will stop you buying chips out anywhere else. Trust me. Just trust me on this. Now, a pack of these are $3.29. That is the best money that you could spend on them because you get a whole 1.5 kilos. That'll last you all week. Now, obviously, you can stick your own potatoes that you cut up into an air fryer, which are even healthier, but these have only got 2 grams of fat. So the only difference is you will get a little bit of seed oil on these, obviously, because they're frozen chips, but they're super low in fat compared to others. If you want a treat, you heard it here first. Frozen blueberries, got to be done. You've got to have these in your freezer so you never run out. 400 grams, only $1.99 at Aldi. Another great staple to get out of the freezer is frozen pineapple chunks, mango chunks, $1.79, 400 grams at Aldi. Never ever use tin stuff. Get fresh or frozen. So much better. If you're going to use condiments, I think it's important that you make your food taste good. So a little bit of a condiment, tablespoon or so is great. Now, if you're not one of these absolute mayo snobs, a lighter than light mayo here tastes just as good as Hellman's, 95p. It's a bargain, really. And I would use that in, like, if you're making burgers or perhaps dip some potatoes in or fries when you're making your healthy ones in the air fryer. So this is worth a look. They do other things here, and Condiments can really bring your food alive. Like things like mustards are always great options. Hot sauces are also fantastic. These are all guilt-free, and they'll make your food more palatable to eat it more regular. So make food taste great, and then you'll enjoy the nutrition and the diet that you're following. And most people that are on a diet are using some sort of nut butter. Aldi do a sugar-free almond butter crunchy version, which is sometimes hard to find. Now this is 170 grams, it's $1.99. But if you've tried pip and nut, nothing on that. So very basic, but it stops you eating too much. So there is that benefit. All right, everyone's morning staple eggs. So you get 15 here for $2.85. Probably not quite as cheap as Iceland, but it's up there, it's close. Definitely cheaper than Tesco's. So that's everything that we've got from Aldi today. So this is £96 and 6p. That should last, you know, at least a week. Probably not quite as good value as Iceland, but great quality. We've also got some fillet steak. We've also got a joint of beef, and these are obviously big money items. But £96 for all of this, I think it's a great steal. If you're not shopping at Aldi and you're looking for healthy foods, this is what I would do. So if you're not subscribed already, make sure you subscribe to this channel. And if you've not liked it, now's your chance. And also, if you want daily content, remember, have a look at my Instagram at Neale Cranwell. Drop daily videos on there every day. See you next time.